Okay, here comes why measure experiment number 2. So for this one, it says dry volume measure. Working over a piece of wax paper, fill a standard measuring tablespoon with sugar and level it with a straight edge spatula. We're just going to use our dinner knife for that. Place the sugar on a piece of wax paper on a metric food scale. Note the weight of the sugar and write it below. Follow the same procedure with a soup spoon from 2 different sets of tableware. So here's what we're gonna do. I've got my tablespoon. I'm gonna measure it like I normally would, fill it up, level it off, and see what my measurement is in grams. And then I'm gonna take 2 different soup spoons, and I'm going to see what my gram weight is there. So you tell me, what's gonna be the difference? What's your hypothesis between the tablespoon and the soup spoon? So go ahead on your paper and fill that in. And while you are doing that, I am going to go ahead and turn on my food scale. It's already set to grams, so I'm good there. I'm gonna go ahead and measure out my tablespoon of sugar. So I'm gonna dip in, I'm gonna level it off, and now I'm going to pour it onto the scale. And right now it says I have approximately 12 grams of sugar. So I'm gonna fill in 12 grams on my scale, or on my paper. And then I'm gonna dump this back in. I'm gonna put my paper back down, make sure that it zeroes out, which it did. Now I'm gonna take my first spoon. So you can see I do have 2 different spoons, okay? So I'm gonna take my second measuring apparatus here. So I'm gonna take this one. So this is technically tableware spoon number 1. So I am going to fill it up with the sugar, and I'm going to level it off. And then I'm gonna put this onto the scale. Okay, that says 6 grams for tablespoon, or tableware spoon number 1. Okay, and then I'm going to dump this back into the bin. I'm gonna put the paper back on, make sure it zeroes out, which it did. Now I'm gonna take my second spoon. I am going to dip this in. I'm gonna level it off, and then we'll see what my grams say. Now I'm down to 2 grams. Okay, so I fill that in on my paper. So, conclusion, the difference between using tableware spoons and a standard measuring spoon to measure ingredients may affect the recipe. How? So that's what I'd like you to answer for experiment number 2.